Texas Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. She's a member of the Oversight and Judicial Committees. Welcome, my friend. It's good to have you as always. Before I get to a couple things I'd planned to speak with you about, what are your thoughts about about Kristi Noem, Department of Homeland Security Secretary, being over there? Do you think this is about trying to repair some sort of fracture, tensions, as Matt Bradley was very aptly calling them? Is it about a quick discussion about what happened tragically this last week in Washington? Was there an underpinning about Israel not being happy about Donald Trump wanting to negotiate with Iran? I mean, there's a lot of possibilities what discussions could be about.
Yeah, you went over all of the kind of sane things that this could be about, but I have found a lack of sanity from this administration. I have found them to be more decisive when it comes to making sure that they've got a good photo op. And so as far as I'm concerned, I doubt that there's anything of substance that she probably is over there to deal with. I doubt that she is going to decide to have a conversation about what happened to those two young people that worked for the Israeli embassy and talk about potential security measures that may need to be increased and cooperation. I doubt it is anything of substance. You just had a good photo op, and I think that that's probably all Kristi Noem is good for, is a photo op.
All right, let's get to the tax breaks in President Trump's big, beautiful domestic spending bill. It's going to cost the government, what, about $5 trillion. It's going to cut Medicaid, other safety net programs by at least $700 billion. Studies show those tax breaks are going to increase income for the top earning households, and I mean the top, while reducing income for the poorest 10%. So if it passes, how does it affect your constituents? And what do you say to Republicans who claim this bill is all about fiscal responsibility?
First of all, it's nothing but a transfer of wealth in a country in which, under the Biden-Harris administration, that wealth gap was actually starting to shrink because there were actual jobs that were being created. We saw through the CHIPS and Science Act that we ended up providing for opportunities for new high-tech manufacturing jobs. We also saw through the Inflation Reduction Act that there were so many opportunities around new green jobs. All we have seen out of this administration is that they have cut jobs, whether it was within the federal government or outside of the federal government. And what we've also seen is that they don't care about the people that are struggling the most, the people that believe in the American dream, that believe that they should be able to come from anywhere and still have an opportunity at prosperity. So beyond that, beyond the fact that it's just really a cruel bill, it's this idea that they are going to somehow be fiscally responsible when we know under the first Trump administration, they ran the national deficit up $8 trillion. And with this one bill, they want to raise the debt ceiling an additional $5 trillion. So here is the deal. If we have cut off everything that would help somebody, which doesn't sound like a very Christian thing to do, if we're going to do all of that, at least have something to show for it. They have nothing to show for it except for, again, those top earners being able to say, have their next trophy wife or buy their next yacht or get their next plane. That doesn't work for me, and that obviously does not work for my constituents.
Let's talk about what President Trump did yesterday, giving the commencement address at West Point. Besides congratulating the graduating cadets, they got to hear the president veer off into his usual grievances and political attacks. Let's take a listen.
I went through more investigations than Alphonse Capone, and now I'm talking to you as president. Can you believe this? I must tell you, a lot of trophy wives. Doesn't work out. They subjected the armed forces to all manner of social projects and political causes while leaving our borders undefended and depleting our arsenals to fight other countries' wars. The job of the U.S. Armed Forces is not to host drag shows. We will not have men playing in women's sports, if that's okay.
So, look, we are all used to Trump making campaign-style diatribes in, inappropriate settings. But what is your response to him doing it at West Point?
Listen, you say we're all used to it. No, I am tired of it, Alex.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean,
I'm right there with
he
you.
literally sounds like someone who is broken out of the insane asylum. Like, he just be all over the place. Like, get him some ADHD medicine, if nothing else, because I don't know where he's ever going to go. And I don't think that those that have gone through West Point expected to have their commander-in-chief address them and start talking about trophy wives or start talking about how he had so many investigations. What a great reminder that you are not qualified to be the person that potentially will command us as troops to go into war. Like, that is not instilling confidence whatsoever. And honestly, our troops deserve better. Our graduates deserve better. We as a country deserve better. And frankly, if we are going to ever be seen as the world leaders that we historically have been, the world deserves better. It is time for Republicans to start calling him out and start questioning his mental acuity and whether or not he is equipped to serve mentally. We know when it comes down to his criminality, he is not qualified to serve. But this is just absolutely deplorable.
So Trump this week, as you well know, returned to his trade war, threatening a 50% tax on all European Union imports and a 25% tariff on Apple iPhones if they aren't made in America. I mean, this once again threw the markets into uncertainty. Stocks went plummeting. Listen to what political analyst Cornell Belcher told me about this yesterday. Here it is.
Imagine for one moment that Barack Obama was interfering in the free market system the way Donald Trump is. Imagine how Wall Street would lose their stuff. They would lose their minds if Barack Obama was having this sort of chaos and pain inflicted just on a whim. Wall Street, elections coming up. You got to make them pay for this. If you pull the plug on the pocketbook, and a lot of this might stop.
Do you agree with Cornell? I mean, is Wall Street just giving Trump a pass that it would never give to a Democratic president?
Oh, absolutely. There is no way. In fact, you're talking about Wall Street. I think even in this country, the people are giving him a pass. I mean, the people gave him a pass when they elected him with 34 convictions. I mean, he has gotten nothing but special privilege treatment. And sadly enough, while he is enjoying this privilege, it is only causing harm and wreaking havoc on us as a country. I mean, you know, the safest thing that you can ever have is a bond, allegedly, at least in the United States, right? And we know even the bond markets are being shaken. We know that our credit rating was recently reduced, which for everyone watching at home, what that means is that when your credit score drops, you know, from above 800 and drops down, say, into the 600s, that means that your debt is going to cost you more money. I mean, all he is doing is costing us money and giving us less resources overall, and then telling us, you know what? Go ahead and pay more for that iPhone that we know that you're using consistently. Or he's telling our friends, like, why would you tell the EU that you want to invoke these tariffs? Tariffs should always be something that we are using on the people that we are not the friendliest with, not on our closest allies. And he started with our closest allies when he went after Mexico and when he went after Canada. I can't say that China is necessarily our closest ally, but when it comes to trade, we know that the world overall has been highly dependent upon China. That is why we were so stunted and why we ended up experiencing the inflation that we did when we went through the global pandemic. Right now, all the inflation that we are experiencing is self-inflicted or Trump-inflicted.
I'm curious, if the Democrats take over after the midterms next year, the House and or Senate, do you think they're going to push for investigations into Trump's family and the whole crypto acquisitions that he is getting?
Well, Alex, I'm glad you asked.
Oh, here we go.
Listen, so long as we end up taking the House, which I fully anticipate that we will do, and we are going to work hard to obviously help our Senate colleagues as well, then as someone who serves on the Oversight Committee and hopes to lead the Oversight Committee, I can guarantee you that we will do what we are supposed to do as constitutionally sworn members of the House, which means that we will conduct oversight. That means that we will investigate. We will look at whether or not this president himself has violated violated the emoluments clause as it relates to say such things as getting a $400 million plane from the Qataris. We also will make sure that we're looking into all these business deals that they have going on. I mean, think about it this way, Alex, they were going after Hunter because he sat on a board. Think about how much money they are raking in, whether we're talking about the next golf resort that they're setting up in Qatar, or whether we're talking about them leveling Gaza, as they've talked about, and talked about how it would be great beachfront property, whether we're talking about this crypto scam, the scam that people didn't even want to walk into and show their faces. Let me tell you, there is no shortage of things for us to dig into and determine whether or not there have been not only violations of the law, but definitely violations of our Constitution as a whole.
Did you make a little news here? Didn't you say you hope to lead that committee?
I absolutely do. You know, unfortunately, we are going to lay our dear colleague, Jerry Conley, to rest here on Tuesday. And there will have to be an election to determine who is going to lead the Oversight Committee. And ultimately, I am hoping and praying that my colleagues see that I can provide what we need as a team to make sure that we can move forward and instill some confidence in the American people by knowing that they have a real fighter who will not back down, even in the face of all the threats that I will have waged at me, because Lord knows I get death threats every single day. But at the end of the day, I truly believe that God will never leave my side. And so I will fight fearlessly and ferociously for the American people.